Welcome back, my friends.
Welcome. Cheers.
Cheers. I was listening to the podcast from last week, and I was like,
how was it?
It was good. Well, I just listened to the beginning of it because I remembered where I said decaf caffee.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Decaf caffeine.
That's good shit.
Yeah, solid.
All right, so when we had talked earlier, I said I was going to come over, we were going to do a podcast, and you were like, okay, but we're not going to talk until the podcast.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's been very minimal conversation. I've been over here like 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's been minimal, but it's still been kind of a lot. And we even caught ourselves like going into deep conversations like, hold on, don't say anything.
Stop it. Turn it off.
Yeah. Power button right now. I think next time it's like no words at all. No words exchanged.
Yeah.
Let's try that.
I'm down.
Let's try like we greet each other out the door. We can even bow to each other or some shit. Whatever you want to do.
Hello,
like,
sir.
Yeah. Good morrow. Like whatever we gotta do, but like I think that just no conversation to start. Like that would be probably the best thing because like we start going on tangents and we don't even know. We don't even realize it.
That's the thing.
We just start talking about shit and all of a sudden it's like, wait, save that for the podcast.
Yeah.
But then we might not remember what we're talking about. Plus, it feels like it'll be a little more organic that way, you know?
Yeah. It's like, I feel like we've had success like warming up the conversation with like talking beforehand.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see what...
Yeah,
because I don't know like what you've been up to the last week.
Right.
Like I don't
Yeah.
So,
but
like,
we usually go into that stuff off mic.
Right.
And off camera.
Yeah.
So now it's cool to go into that stuff like on mic and on camera.
Yeah.
Which like there's been a lot that's happened in the past week. I mean, the coronavirus alone, which we don't really even need to touch on that right now, but like that's been a fucking crazy thing and the impact it's had. But also I was telling you about probably the biggest instrumental change I've made in my life was actually today. I took my first fully cold shower.
Yeah.
For the past few weeks, I've been doing it where it's like hot to wash my body and then cold like afterwards. And I'll sit in there for like 2 minutes with cold water on afterwards. But today was the first day that I did it just purely cold. I just like sucked it up and hopped in and did it. And honestly, it's not that bad. It's not terrible. The first like minute is awful. You're like,
and then
what am I doing?
Then your body adjusts.
Your body adjusts. And at some point, like I noticed, I was in there for probably like 10 minutes today, just like taking a normal shower. And I noticed at some point, like the water even began to feel warm.
Yeah. Like, although I think that's to do with the water supply. Like I think, because that happens at my house too.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Or maybe...
I just thought my skin became adjusted. And when I was outside of the cold water, it was even colder. And then I got back in it and it felt warmer, you know?
It could be.
Kind of like, all right, so think about like, in a really cold pool. When you go in a cold pool and you jump in at first, you're freezing, but then you swim around for a while, you're good. When you get out of that pool, it's fucking cold.
Yeah.
When you're sitting outside of it, you jump back in the cold pool to get warm again.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
Like, so I feel like the shower's having the same effect on me.
Could be.
Yeah. Plus, I what's the word I'm looking for here? Started is fine. I started sitting in front of like infrared lights for red light therapy, and I got the tip from Jeremy because I went over to his house and he was just sitting there like with his shirt off and he's like, you ever done red light therapy before? And I was like, no dude, I haven't. So he explained all like the tremendous health benefits it has, like it penetrates the mitochondria and yada yada yada. I don't know all the science behind it, but it like boosts libido, it boosts hair growth, which you can tell by my face I need that desperately.
Same.
Yeah. You feel me on that. And so like it has all these health benefits, and he was telling me about like recovery from muscle recovery and everything after you work out, and you should do like 3 15-minute sessions a day. And I've been doing that prior to my cold showers for probably like a week now. Probably a week, and dude, I've just noticed tremendous benefits. Like I'm sleeping better, my libido is higher, my test levels are higher, I feel more energized naturally. My cold showers don't suck as much because you're sitting in front of hot lights before you go take a cold shower, so you're a little warm to begin with. And I've just noticed huge benefits, even like in my muscle recovery and growth from the gym. So,
yeah, you sent me the link for the shopping cart to buy it, and you were like, everything that you need is in the cart.
Yeah.
Just buy it.
Because I sent you the bulb at first.
Yeah.
And then I remember like, all right, Jeremy had to explain this to me. It's confusing, you know?
Yeah.
So I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to put everything in the cart and send it to him so he can buy it.
Yeah. So I'll probably get that today.
Oh, for sure, dude. I mean, it's like, it's incredibly beneficial. And it feels good. Like, I had to ask Jeremy, how long should I be doing this for? Because I was way overdoing it. Like, I was sitting there for like 45 minutes at a time, and I was just like playing video games on my phone, just like, this is good. I'm soaking up infrared light. And then I talked to him, I was like, yo, just out of curiosity, like, what's a healthy amount of infrared light? He's like, like 3 sessions of 15 minutes a day. I wouldn't exceed that at all. And I was like, oh shit.
Whoops.
I've been chilling in front of these things for quite some time, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just because it feels good. You feel like a lizard, you know?
It's like sprawled out on the concrete.
Seriously, like, no, I shit you not. Like, I'm butt naked in front of these things, and I stand there like the second coming of Christ, and like, and let there be light.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly. Infrared light.
Yes.
Yeah, and it fucking feels amazing, man. Not only that, you can put it directly on your dick and balls. Like, no problem. You can put it on your dick and balls, and it's like, again, it's got tremendous health benefits. There's a guy, an athlete online, who like did a research study on it himself and like put infrared light on his dick and balls for like 3 months straight. And he talks about like the benefits that he felt and like how much better his performance was, his endurance was, and like he talks about his sex life with his wife and like how it's improved. And it's I mean, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence that I read that supports everything that I feel, and I haven't like dove into the scientific research side of it, but I'm sure that it would yield similar results if these are the things that people are saying.
Yeah.
So
I need to get on that.
I'm telling you, dude, it's for sure worth it. Like, there are things that Jeremy has showed me that I'm like, bro. I was texting him about it, and he was like, dude, he was like recovery of Zeus. he's like focus of Troy, like naming all these like Greek gods and mythological people, and I was just like, yeah, dude, that's pretty much how I feel every day. You literally feel like a god after you sit in front of these fucking things. Like, you work out, sit in front of them, shower, and afterwards you're just like, oh, you're like floating. It's fucking crazy, man.
Damn, that's legit. It's
crazy. Like, I've started cutting out caffeine because I feel so good. Like, caffeine is a downer right now.
Have you been, like, are you not drinking caffeine at all?
I'll have like 1 cup of coffee at work, and I've been doing that for the past, I think, like maybe like a week when I started all this. And,
okay.
And I noticed that like after I drink the caffeine, I feel more foggy. I feel like less mentally clear.
Yeah.
I feel like it's becoming an obstruction. So today I didn't have any caffeine, and yesterday I didn't have any caffeine because I've been working from home.
Mm-hmm.
And so I haven't drinking any coffee, and I've been doing this routine every day, and I fucking feel amazing. Even decaf here, but
yeah, the decaf. You know?
Yeah, and so I do that. Like, I don't need the coffee.
Yeah, today is day 22 of no caffeine.
Right. And cold showers too, right?
Well, I took a hot shower yesterday.
Okay.
Just to like
refresh
see
yourself.
how it would feel, you know?
Yeah, and it felt great.
And it felt amazing.
Yeah.
And then but still like turning it cold at the end, you know?
Right.
And then I took another hot shower today just to like treat myself.
Yeah.
But I gotta get back to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna like cycle it in.
Yeah.
You know, and do it for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then take a couple days of hot showers, and then you know.
Right. Yeah, like, I'm getting to the point where I kind of like the cold shower.
Yeah,
like,
it's nice,
I
bro.
Look forward to it.
It definitely wakes you up.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know. I just feel like refreshed.
Yeah.
Very refreshed after. And that's not to say that like hot showers don't do that, but
right.
I've gotten so used to getting out of the shower after being doused in cold water, because I've been doing like the hot shower and then turn it to cold for the last like minute. I've been doing that for like 2.5 years.
Right.
So the switch to like the full-on cold shower wasn't that much of a change. It was definitely like a shock at first, you know, and like trying to like get my breathing under control and all that, but I like getting out cold, you know, and like after just being doused in cold water, like it feels really good.
It does. Yeah, I totally agree. I started picking up the like hot to cold shower thing after you told me you've been doing it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned a lot of like really good benefits about it.
Yeah, for the hot and cold thing, the reason I started it was for one, it feels really good, but two, the hot water opens your pores, right? So like, and when you wash yourself, you can clear it all out, and then the cold water closes them.
Right.
So it's, you know, beneficial for your skin.
Yes.
And I don't know, I've never had an issue with like really bad skin, but I definitely noticed an increase in skin quality after I started doing that. And then also like right before I started doing cold showers, like a week before, I got a shower filter.
Nice.
And that added with the cold showers, like my skin feels great.
That's great, man.
It's like filtering
That's
out
great.
all the nasty shit in the water.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, like the stuff that like the residual on your sink tap.
Yeah.
After a while, it builds up like the calcium and lime, and
Yeah.
I don't know how good that stuff is for your skin.
No, it's not at all.
I don't know how good it is for you to ingest either.
No, but like, I mean, if your skin's getting pounded with it every day, it's getting into your system.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
yeah.
so.
And like, but like me, I drink tap water on occasion. I mean, before I had this water dispenser, I drank tap water.
Yeah, I just have a Brita filter.
Which is
It's a
solid.
little
I'm sure those
pitcher
work.
thing, you know?
I have one of those too, but ever since I got this, I don't use it at all.
Yeah, well, that thing's legit.
It's fucking legit. And dude, from Costco, you can get that whole setup for like $10 a month.
That's not bad.
I'm telling you, they bring you two. I get 2 of these jugs a fucking month, and as you can see, I have a stockpile.
Yeah.
I can't drink them fast enough. And it's like, I think it comes out with 2 of them a month, or maybe it's 2 a month. It's like $16 a month with the unit rental and the water.
That's not bad at
No,
all.
it's not bad at all, dude. And it's just like a huge benefit. And it's one of the bottom load water dispensers, so it's not like
You don't have to pick
I don't
it up
have
and
to pick it up and
upside
tip it
down.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, it's not a fucking eyesore. It looks nice, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's sleek and it fits in with the rest of the design. It's not like this fucking obtrusive fucking bottle of water sitting there, you know.
Like at a dentist's office or something.
Yeah,
just
exactly. Yeah. Like come sit in my waiting room at my table. I'm glad I gathered you
17-year-old
here
Time
today.
magazine.
Exactly.
Old water
Yes,
dispenser.
exactly. Like gum between the pages and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Standard. Dude, I was not to go back to the coronavirus, but I wanted to talk about this today. It's like I went to the grocery store over the weekend, and it was a fucking nightmare, dude. Like the shelves were cleaned out. Target, nothing. Walmart, nothing. Costco, nothing. Every store around here was fucking wiped out.
Yeah.
Like I went to get all these, like I just wanted like some Clorox cleaning wipes for my table, and I was like, that was stupid. Why did I try to do that? You know, there's nowhere that has cleaning wipes right now, which is crazy. That's crazy. Like people are in a panic, and it just made me realize like how unprepared as a society we are for these type of epidemics. You know, people don't even know what the fuck they're doing.
No.
They're just buying shit that they think is clean. It's like, this cleans things, I'm gonna buy this. This is gonna keep my family from dying, you know? And it's like, is it? Do you know that for a fact? Or are you just like following the masses?
Those Clorox wipes are legit though, bro, because I stayed at your mom's house for an entire weekend one time with like a raging pink eye.
Right.
And I just wiped off every surface after I touched everything, and nobody in your family got it.
I'm pretty sure
I'm
that's
surprised she let you
because...
stay there, to be honest.
Yeah, seriously. My mom doesn't really give a fuck, man. Yeah, she's very chill, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Erica and I, we're gonna go to dinner with her, and she was like, okay, that sounds good, but pick somewhere I can wear my pajamas to. I was like, alright, sounds good, yeah.
Savage.
Yeah, mom's chill.
Good luck finding somewhere now.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, so the pink eye thing, like, I'm pretty sure pink eye is, like, a bacterial infection.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a bacterial infection. You get bacteria in your eye, and like, it's like fecal matter in the eye is one of the things that causes pink eye. So it's a bacterial infection. What this is a virus. So you buying antibacterial hand sanitizer
Good point.
and antibacterial wipes, does that make sense? No. Bacteria is different from a virus.
Well, hold
you
on
need
now.
the antivirals, right?
Now, I suppose it makes sense if you're using it to wipe surfaces and clear bacteria so that you don't compromise your immune system.
Sure, that
to be
makes
more
sense.
susceptible.
Yes.
However, if you're just like wiping down everything, hoping that like
it will kill
the virus
if
will
it exists,
not
like
gonna
you're
happen.
combating an antibacterial with a virus. You need
Yeah.
an antiviral to combat a virus. You
Yeah.
know? So like, I get the whole idea. Like, it's a good idea to wash your hands anyway.
Right.
It's a good idea to hand sanitize anyway. Probably. It's a good idea to fucking wipe down things anyway with antibacterial wipes. You know, because shit gets dirty, it gets musty. There's dust. There's fucking bacteria everywhere.
Yeah.
You know. So that's a good idea. I agree with that. But to go in this flurry of panic of like, these Clorox wipes will prevent me from getting a virus, like that's not the best way to look at it.
No.
You know, it's not the best way to look at it.
Well,
And I don't know, man.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like people panic.
Yeah, because
Nobody
we
knows
just
what's
don't.
going
We
on.
just don't know.
Yeah.
It just shows how unprepared we are.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You know?
so like I work in a restaurant, right? So
Yeah.
this past Saturday, we have trivia night, and normally it's packed, like you can't find a seat. And this past Saturday, it was empty. There was like 40 people in the restaurant total.
Wow.
And Sunday, I closed 2 hours early
Right.
And then now the restaurant's only open from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. for takeout only. So I'm from like 45 hours a week to like 10.
So are you working all of those shifts, or are you just...
No, I only have 2 days a week.
Oh, Jesus.
I work Wednesday and Sunday. Because the only people that are going to be working...
that's 6 hours a week.
Well, I got to... Say like 8. I got to get there an hour before. I'll leave an hour after. Like 8 hours this week. Yeah, if I'm lucky.
Okay. Dude, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
And that's the impact this is having on your livelihood. You imagine the amount of people that this is having an impact on.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm lucky that I don't have, an apartment.
Right.
Like I moved back in with my mom. Like I'm solid, and like I can get unemployment. I have savings. Like I'm not stressing about it. Like it sucks that I'm not gonna continue to get my regular income for the foreseeable future, but like I'll be all right.
Right.
But there's a lot of people that are not gonna be all right.
Yes, exactly. Think about the people that work at restaurants that have kids that they require
kids in an apartment
and mouths to feed, and I mean, shit, the girl that you work with that works alongside you, the other manager, she has 5 kids.
She's got 6 kids, but 3 of them are grown. So she's got...
Okay, so 3 little kids, and she's gonna be working 8 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I mean, so I'm guessing a good source of income in that kind of position is also tips. So that minimizes your ability to earn tips, and it minimizes your base income.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you're screwed on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't effectively manage your money, you're gonna have a hard time making ends meet.
Yeah.
And feeding your kids and putting a roof over their head. And
yep.
I mean, fuck, man, that is wild.
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool if like everything got put on hold. Like you don't have to pay rent until the national whatever is lifted.
Yeah.
The state of emergency or but people are greedy,
not,
bro. That's not gonna happen.
I mean, shit, imagine if you owned rental properties and they were like, oh, we're not gonna pay you rent for 2 months because the government said we didn't have to. Like that could put a huge dent in your pocket because like you still got to pay the bank those loans.
Yeah.
So at the same time, like
it's tough waters to navigate.
It is, man. If if you don't understand or don't know or don't effectively take care of yourself financially, then it's like you're in a much worse position than someone who prepares for these types of things or has like a nest egg of savings in the event that something does happen, at least like 6 months worth of income saved, so you can kind of navigate for a little bit. Try to find another job in the interim, whatever it might be. But yeah, man, I just imagine the amount of people that like just don't have that education, that level of education, or access to that type of education. And it'll be detrimental to their livelihood.
For sure.
It'll be detrimental.
I saw my uncle today. I was like driving past his house, and he was outside, and I was talking to him, and he was like, "Trump's talking about sending everybody $1,000, every American adult."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, that would be nice, but like, is it really gonna happen?"
Yeah. And like, who knows? But at the end of the day, it's like $1,000 is easily spent.
Right. That's gonna be gone.
Like, thank you, Trump. I appreciate that, but like that, that's fucking gone.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying it's better than nothing for sure.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put it in the bank and save it.
Yeah.
if it comes,
yeah.
Like,
I mean, Trump says a lot of things.
Right.
I'm gonna keep carrier jobs in the U.S. 2 weeks after becoming president, carrier jobs are gone out of the U.S.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not here to fucking take political sides or anything, but like it is what it is. Yeah.
So okay, so what? Well, I don't want to keep going on about all this craziness.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
This isn't like a.
It's not a productive conversation
yeah.
about life and yada yada yada.
Okay, so what do you? I guess like on a somewhat related topic, like obviously the stock market is going down, right?
Yeah.
It's dropped.
Right.
What do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't know. I think you're going to find conflicting opinions out there, and some people will like, obviously, when I worked in the banking industry, I would see stocks would drop and the market would start to fall, and people would panic and pull out their money right away. And like, I don't think that's a smart decision because you're losing money, and then you pull that money out, you don't have the opportunity to gain that money back,
Right.
If there are expansions and contractions and peaks and troughs repeatedly throughout the history of the fucking economic state of this country, like if financially, in whatever aspect you look at, like you have to expect that at some point it's going to go down and it's going to go up, you know?
Right.
It's about riding the wave long term more so than like trying to get super wealthy off short term hits, you know? And if you hit the panic button every time something happens, like if a stock goes up, let's say the stock price of a stock doubles, and you're like, oh my god, I doubled my investment, pull the money out now. And then you pull it out, and then 3 years down the road, it's fucking $100, $200 more. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, I could have had more money then. It's like, okay, so.
So that's the thing is like, you just, like, you have to be able to make these decisions rationally and kind of weigh the pros and cons of it before you.
And it takes a lot of skill and a lot of understanding to be a really good investor. You have to know how to, like, truly, there's no way to predict the market.
Right.
Unless you are doing insider trading or you know things about companies that people don't know, which goes on for sure.
Yeah.
And it's how people connected do so well, I'm sure, in some respects, you know, because they can get information before it's leaked. And it's really hard to prove insider trading if it's like a word of mouth exchange between two friends, you know.
Right.
I mean, so there's obviously people who are in better positions than others for sure. And like you have to educate yourself on the markets and the way they work and the times of expansion and contraction and when they hit peaks so you know when to sell and when they hit troughs so you know when to buy, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? It's like a lot of people when these prices go down, they're going to bail out and sell it all, but like
there's other people that will take advantage,
snatch all that
take
up.
advantage of the recession. And so that's kind of I heard this idea a while back, and it's like it wasn't coined this way. It was talking about like how to navigate a recession, but I kind of developed this thing of like, how do you become recession proof?
Yeah.
Right. And like obviously having a lot of money is one way to be a kind of recession proof, but also I'd say more importantly than that is having smart investments, you know, knowing where to invest your money so that when the economy does crash, what are the markets, the industries that improve when an economy crashes, when there's a recession? What are those markets? Liquor, tobacco, utilities? I don't know. Maybe invest in some of those, and when the time does come and there's a recession, you'll earn you'll earn a return on your investment there, you know?
Yeah.
So like, and those are just to name a few. I'm sure there's more. I don't know. I'm not claiming to know the answer to all of this. I'm saying like, these are things that people should be asking themselves. Like, how do I put myself and my family in a position where if these things do occur, it doesn't impact us like it would impact everyone else, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how do I do that? How do I ensure my family's security in future? Like, what are the things that when an economy crashes, I can prevent myself from falling flat on my face, you know? Because like a liquid savings account isn't going to do it. You know? Depending on how much money you have in there, but it's like, you know, saving money is one strategy, but in terms of keeping up with inflation and continued growth, investing is the strategy.
Right.
You know, and so knowing when and where and how and why you're investing money, and I think is crucial and key in every aspect. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to like dive more into this and learn more about it because I don't really know a whole lot about it.
Right.
But I feel like if I haven't learned anything so far, like now would be the time to learn.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely,
and start to figure out.
I think any time is a good time. Like
any
time. Like if you know nothing about it, take this as a sign of initiative to like go start an E-Trade account.
Yeah.
Just go start looking at stocks. That's one way. It's like people who want to start working out more. Like just go to the gym. You don't have to do anything. Just show up and walk out.
Right.
That'll create the habit of getting in there, and then you'll be like, okay, let me go pick up this weight and see what I do with it. You know?
Yeah.
It's like just try it, and then you build on that, you compound on that, and you learn things, and that's essentially the recipe for success is to continue learning and to continue trying until you figure it out. You know, until it works out for you. And so I think that the same strategy applies to investing.
I would agree.
And so, like, people just need to not be afraid to get their feet wet, you know?
Yeah.
Like, my dad has lived in fear of buying a house for so long because his whole, like, scarcity mentality, he's like, I don't want to be a slave to a house. I'm going to buy a house, and, like, all these things are going to go wrong with it. I'm going to have to fix it all the time, and, like, it's going to be so expensive. And I'm like, okay, you know, that makes sense. But, like, let's say that you did buy a house when you were younger and you still rented apartments today. Like, you've been at your job for 21 years now. Like, that house could have been close to paid off by now.
If not paid off.
If not paid off. You could have been renting it the entire time, you know, making extra money. And instead you've been renting $2,500 apartments every month for fucking years. You've been renting expensive, nice apartments, and it's like, dude, I mean, I get it, you know, to a certain extent. Like, I understand like the desire to not have that much of a liability over your head, but at the same time, it's like the amount you spend on apartments and rent could have easily paid off a mortgage 2 times over, you know, if not more. And if you would have just, he was obsessed with cars, you know, he still is.
Yeah.
I told him, like, if you would have just bought a fucking Toyota Camry when you were 5 years old and drove that piece of shit into the ground and didn't, like, renew your leases every 2 years and have the newest Corvettes and Escalades and all that shit is what he did, you'd probably be in a much better financial position, you know?
Yeah.
Because he talks about all the time, like, oh, I wish I could retire at 65. It's looking more like 67 or 70. And I'm like, yeah. Like, fuck, man. I get it, you know, but like, you should have invested in these things when you were younger. You should have figured out how to do that, you know?
Yeah.
And you could have retired by 60. Who knows? If you had 2 or 3 investment properties by now, it's fucking income, man. You know? Like, you're telling me that you're going to rely solely on your 401k when you retire? Like, you retire at 67 or even 70. You've got another maybe 20 years under your belt.
Yeah.
You know, like, fuck. It's terrifying, man.
It is.
It's terrifying to think that, like, people work their whole fucking lives just to save money to last them till they die. That is a fucking wild concept.
Dude, it's
that is
so bad.
Dude, like, fuck, man. If that's not terrifying, I don't know what the fuck is. To me, that's scarier than dying. To me, it's like fuck, dude.
You're just like a shell.
You're just
your whole life, and then you retire, and you might not even have the energy or the physical or mental health to enjoy yourself.
That's exactly it. You're not getting the best 20 years of your life. You're not starting at 16 and going to 40 or 36. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 36. Like, you're going from 60 to 80 or 70 to 90.
Right.
Know? It's like, those are not the best years of your life. You've maybe got 10 useful years left.
Right.
Before you're a liability to other people. The people that you love, that you should have worked your life to provide for, are now the ones that are providing for you because you have nothing left.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, that's a terrifying existence, man. That's fucking terrifying. That should be the motivating factor for every person in the world. It's like, fuck, you're telling me that when I'm too old to work, I could not have enough money to take care of myself, and I'm gonna have to fucking live in like a ghetto senior home with a bunch of other people? Like, oh my god, dude. That's enough to send fucking chills down your spine. Man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh fuck, Gary Vee said it best. He's like, go to a nursing home and look at a 90-year-old person in the face and like ask them their regrets, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I used to work at a retirement center, and
it has to be surreal, man.
Dude, it's you can clearly tell the people who are like okay with the way their lives turned out and the people that are miserable with the way their lives turned out.
Yeah.
Because they're miserable every single day.
God.
Every day.
Oh, until they die. They die. Fuck, man.
Not good.
Fuck. And that is like, that is just an awful, terrifying thought. To think that like you get older and you look back and you're like, I wasted everything.
Yeah.
All that time, all those years, I wasted them. Gone. And like, here I am, sitting in this fucking home. Like, because you still think about the times when you were young. It's not like you're old and you forget about all this shit. Like, you think about shit.
Right.
And arguably, you have more time to... No, not even arguably. You have more time to think about shit when you're old as fuck.
Yeah.
So that's all you do all day when you're in a wheelchair chilling at home, you know? Matter of fact, I saw a fucking interview the other day on Bob Barker. Not an interview. A documentary on Bob Barker. Host of the Wheel of Fortune, right? No. Price is right.
Yeah.
God damn it, I'm fucking talking too fast. So he's in a convalescent home now, and like, he was sitting in a wheelchair on like the fucking like porch of the convalescent home, and they were interviewing him, and he was just like the biggest smile on his face, and he looks really old now. Like, if you haven't looked at a picture of Bob Barker recently, he's fucking old, man.
Last I saw him was on Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, no, he's like 90 now, and he's fucking old, and he looks really old, you know. And he was like, I have no regrets. He's like, I lived a wonderful, wonderful life, and I have no regrets. And he's like, he looks so like legitimately fucking happy. He's like,
that's awesome.
He's like a radiating old man, and I just thought, like, my god, like, what a way to fucking go out, you know?
You know?
Like, what a way to go out. He's got money in the bank, he had a successful career. He's fucking okay with being in like a care facility now. and he's genuinely happy with how his life turned out.
Yeah.
Fuck. How many people get to say that?
Not nearly enough.
God damn. God damn. I'm getting stressed out just I am, man. It's like, fuck, you know, you don't even think about it, man. You just, like, the time passes, it goes on, and then you're just there one day, and it's like,
yeah,
you have nothing but time to think about all the things you should have, could have, or would have done, you know?
Well, that's the thing, is like to erase those things from your vocabulary, those words.
No, absolutely, yeah. But like, I don't want to say but, because that's the end of all action.
Right.
As soon as you say something and then you say but, it's the end of all action. It's like, oh, I was gonna do that, but like that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. If you're saying those things, it's fucked up, and people should work on not saying but.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought. What did you say before?
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And erasing them from your vocabulary.
Yes, I was gonna say easier said than done, basically. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
but in a positive way.
Yes.
Way.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It is easier said than done. However,
yes.
The thing is just being able to catch yourself when you're doing it,
right.
And like you're like, oh, okay, like talking to yourself like, oh, I should have done that. Like, whoa. What do I do differently in the future?
Right.
So I don't have to tell myself that, you know? And I mean, there's a lot of things. I feel like people our age are always like, oh, I should have done that. I should have done this. Well, you know, like I feel like it sometimes too, but so what?
Yeah.
You should have done that. So what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do now?
Yeah. A big part of it is like figuring out how to live in the present, you know?
That's the thing right there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I've been struggling with that.
That's really
hard.
hard.
I wouldn't say I've been struggling with it. I've been trying to improve upon
right.
remaining in the present, you
right.
know? Especially like while meditating, sometimes my mind will wander about like something that happened yesterday or like what could happen, and I'm like, whoa, hold on.
Right.
Like, just stay here.
Yeah.
Stay here for a few minutes, you know, and it's helped me to. I've been like actively trying to do that the last few weeks.
Right.
Like remain present while I'm meditating, and it's showing up in my regular life.
Right.
Like the effort that I'm putting into that. And
right.
it's great to it's reduced my stress and anxiety a lot.
Right.
Because I'm not like constantly worrying about the what ifs or like what could have or what might be, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a huge relief. I'm not saying that I don't ever think about that stuff, but I think about them less, noticeably less.
Right.
And it's a massive change on your mental state.
Just by trying to focus on staying present.
While meditating.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important to do, like while meditating and just start your everyday life, you know.
Right. Well, that's the thing is like, if you
hard.
can do it while you're meditating,
right,
it'll be easier to do it in your everyday
there
life.
You go. Yeah, it's a good point.
So that's why I started doing that.
Yeah.
And it's hard, you know, like it's really difficult, especially like, because I was doing the sensory deprivation tank for a while, put my account on hold. But I was, you know, I had a membership there for like a year, and it's really hard for an hour to just lay there in the water
and to be still
and like focus. It's for an hour. It's hard.
Right.
It's really hard, you know, like toward the end, like I'd get fidgety and, you know, and sometimes I'd be like, the hour would go by and I would remain in this meditative state, you know, and sometimes like I couldn't get comfortable the whole time.
Right.
But it's just practice.
Right.
And you just have to do it.
You can't beat yourself up about the times that it doesn't work out well, you know. It's
right. The hardest part is like while you know that it's not going well to like chill out, bro.
To remind yourself like it's gonna be okay. Just relax, you know.
Right.
I feel like the more you tell yourself relax, the more you can't relax.
Sometimes. Sometimes
It depends,
It depends on the circumstances and but it's not like game over if you're like, bro, relax. Like telling yourself to relax, like it's not necessarily like game over, you're fucked.
Right.
It's just, you know, trying to get back to the present.
Yeah. I'm trying to live in the now.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd be much happier if like we learned, people as a collective learned how to live in the now, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's the future and the past. The constant thoughts about the what ifs and the what haves are like what bring people down, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They constantly think about things that they, again, could have, should have, or would have done.
Yeah.
And they think about how they can do things differently in the future and how their future is going to look.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes the thought of how their future is going to look doesn't align with like what they're doing now, you know?
Yeah.
To put it like an example on that, the best way that I've ever heard it described, it's so simple, but it's the best way that I've ever heard that concept described, is by Les Brown. He asked his son 2 questions. And I plan on asking Lila these questions when she gets older. Okay. First question is, do you want to be successful? Okay. Everyone's going to answer that question the same way. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The second question is, based on what you are doing now, do you expect to be successful?
Damn.
And it's like, oh shit. Because then you've got to evaluate, like, what am I doing now? And the traits and characteristics and habits and the things that I do, are these the things that successful people do? And if I continue to do these things, will these things make me successful? That's a whole self-evaluation. Yeah. That's the best way, like the simplest, best way that I've ever heard it explained, you know, in those 2 questions.
Those are intense. Or I guess the second one is the intense one, you know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to like answer these in my head right now. Yes, I want to be successful. I think that the actions that I'm taking right now I think that like if I stopped learning right now, I wouldn't get to where I wanted to be. Right? But the actions that I'm taking now to learn and improve, if I continue doing those, yes, 100%, I'll be successful. But if I just continue doing what I'm doing right now, no.
Right. And I feel the same way. I'm on the same page.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to get wrapped up like in a comfortable job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to think like, oh, if I stay here, I'll be fine. I'll collect a paycheck, and
well,
it's easy to fall into that, you know.
Well, that's one of the things that I've been struggling with is like, I don't want to do what I'm doing.
No.
You know.
Nor you don't want a job. Most people don't want a job.
I wouldn't. I mean, like the career transition that I'm currently trying to undergo would land me another job.
Right.
But it's a job that I want to learn about.
Right.
You know, rather than just doing something because I've done it for a long time and I'm comfortable with it.
Right. Yeah, it's a job that aligns with the trajectory of your future.
Right.
Yeah.
Not just like, I'm going to do this because...
It's kind of like a paid internship.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're learning things so that you can utilize them to propel yourself in the direction that you want to go.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge, crucial element of life, is like acquiring knowledge and using it to your benefit.
Right.
To get yourself ahead. Whatever you have to do that. Learn new skills, anything, you know.
Yeah.
Discover new topics and categories and philosophies and lessons, and absorb as much information as you can.
Be the sponge.
Be the sponge and absorb that shit like water and hold it and just retain it, you know. And just, I think learning, man, just constant learning. I think it's also like one of the keys to happiness is like if you were just constantly learning new things, first of all, there's never enough things to know. You can never learn it all. Like, things change every fucking millisecond. Things that we know today will be totally different from what we know tomorrow, and so on and so forth. There's never a way to learn it all, you know?
Yeah.
Like, philosophies and the concepts, like, of anything are ever changing, and they continue to and will forever, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that just, like, trying to learn as much as you can every day about the things around you, the way life works, how it goes, how can you be a better person, how can you give more back, how can you give more to yourself, how can you love better, how can you, you know, act better, perform better in what you do, you know, just if you work on learning about how to be in general a better, more well-rounded person, I think that that's a huge element to being happy.
Yeah.
You know, because you will begin to put a better version of yourself out there, and you will then get a better response in return from your environment, the universe, people, all the above.
Mm-hmm. This is true. I think that being just the concept of being a good person will take you so far.
So far.
I think that that's like a highly underutilized asset that people could acquire.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I really feel like it is an asset.
Right.
To just be good.
Right.
Just be good, man. That's all.
Right. Well, the problem is like good is subjective, you know?
Yeah.
Some people define it other ways, but like, I guess do what is in the best interest of the common good.
Yeah.
You know, like as a collective, if there was a whole bunch of people, the decision you're about to make, would a majority of those people make that decision? If the answer is yes, then it's probably a safe decision.
Yeah.
If the answer is no, and you're doing this because like it's good for you or it benefits you.
Well, here's the other side of that. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, let's say the majority of people would make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to fit in with the majority of people? In the interest of common good, probably. But if you're making decisions that a lot of people don't agree with, but you know
it's the right thing for you.
It's the right thing.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's when you need to
So I
separate
think when
yourself.
it comes to like individuality
Mhm.
and personal interests and things that you know are good for you, as long as they don't cause harm to other people,
Right.
then make those decisions.
Yeah.
But if the decision you're about to make is going to harm or impact someone very negatively, I'm not here to tell you not to make that decision. I don't think anybody can tell you not to make that decision. I think that you should weigh the impact that it's going to have on the people around you.
Yeah.
And weigh the impact that it's going to have on you positively and come to a conclusion on that decision. Like, let's say it's a relationship you want to get out of that you feel like you've been stuck in for a while and you don't have the guts, the balls to do it because you know how bad it's going to hurt the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But you know that it would be instrumental for your growth.
Right.
To get out of that relationship. And it's a necessity for you to do so. I think that the benefit of leaving that relationship is an absolute, it's a yes, 100%. You have to leave that relationship.
Yeah.
Just because you're going to temporarily upset that other person is better than them living with a lifetime of regret with you because you didn't have the balls to cut them off.
Right. Because it's just going to breed resentment on both sides.
Exactly. And then time goes on, you end up fucking whatever, cheating, whatever it might be, doing shit that just makes you hate each other even more.
Right.
And as opposed to viewing it that way of like, oh, this is going to hurt this person temporarily, it's like, okay, it will, but it also gives them an opportunity to go be happy somewhere else.
Right.
It also gives them opportunities. It opens doors for them. They're no longer attached to you in that potentially toxic relationship, And so I think that, yeah, like you're on the right track there. Like make decisions for yourself, weigh the impact on others. But also, if it's in the interest of the common good as a collective and it benefits the people around you, even better,
Yeah.
If it benefits society that you live in, even fucking better. Do those things,
Yeah.
And that's probably a key element of, like, I guess, being a good person,
Yeah.
But, I was going to say something about, there's this, like, dilemma, right? I forgot what kind of dilemma it's called, but there's this dilemma that has been, like, widely studied and regarded to as like a thought dilemma that puts people in a tough predicament, So you think like, imagine you are hiding yourself, your family, and people you care and love about from intruders that intend to hurt you or kill you in some way, hurt you in some way or kill you, right?
Okay.
Imagine yourself in that situation. You are hiding them. The intruders enter the area that you're in, and you have a baby with you, and the baby starts crying, which then compromises your position. Do you cover the baby's mouth and suffocate it? Because if the intruders are there for a while, it will likely die. You kill the baby. Do you kill the baby to sacrifice to keep the lives of the people around you? Or do you let the baby scream and let everyone die?
That's a tough decision.
Right. And I mean, the obvious, like,
and this is like your family.
This is your family. This is everyone that you care about and love. Your best friends, your closest friends. Like,
And
imagine all the
you
people
even
that
care
you
about
love.
the baby.
You say it's your child. Say it's not even a baby. Say it's like a toddler. So they're aware and they're scared.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, they're like 3 or 4 and they're scared and they start crying out of fear. Like, you know. So like part of you wants to be like, yes, you fucking silence that kid at the risk of not everyone else not dying.
Right.
And the other part of you is like, but damn.
Yeah.
Could I suffocate a child, you know, at the risk of the greater benefit? Like, is that something I have within me that I'm capable of doing, you know? And so,
I don't know, man. I don't know if I can answer that.
I would never ask you to answer that. Like, I wouldn't ask anybody to answer. That's a tough question. And I don't think you could answer it right now. This is something you have to think about, you know?
Yeah.
And so this is kind of this leads into like the things that people experience with PTSD and on the battlefield, you know? This is something that Jordan Peterson talks about often. It's like when people go to war and they're just normal civilian people and they go to war and then they end up doing things in war they could have never envisioned themselves doing.
Yeah.
They end up like murdering people, right? And it's like you see dark sides of yourself that you never thought possible. You never even considered, like, imagine you get in hand-to-hand combat with another person and you have to stab that person repeatedly to death because they're trying to do the same thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those kinds of things change you.
Yeah, he does say that in his book. Like, it's not so much what people see, it's the actions that they do that cause the PTSD.
Exactly. It's who they discover they're capable of being.
Right.
That creates that. Because then you have to come back to living a normal life knowing that you're capable of monstrosity.
Right.
That you're capable of terrible things.
Mm-hmm.
Things that you would have never considered before, you know. But in the face of survival, these things become necessary. And as a species, as a human species, we are wired for those things, you know. Like, we, at some point, were hunters and killers, you know. We were, like, that's what we did to survive. We murdered animals and people with our bare hands. It's our lineage. It's our history, you know.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. It's, like, who we are as people.
Yeah.
And we've just slowly been domesticated over time to like being civil with each other, you know? But if there was mass outbreak, like let's say this coronavirus took down fucking society and things went awry and it was like World War Z, like you bet your ass people would be breaking into your fucking house to steal your food and trying to kill you and your family and shit. Like, it would go fucking crazy.
It'd be like that movie, The Book of Eli.
Yes, precisely. Yeah. Or kind of like a post-apocalyptic purge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where it's not one day dedicated, it's like people are just starving and dying and they'll do anything to feed their families and kids and like they will break into any home and kill anyone they have to allow their family to survive, you know? So it's like, fuck, man. You know, like this is the darkest part of human nature, our primal drives, our primal desires to like the lust, greed, gluttony, all those things, the 7 deadly sins, like those are the things that truly shine in times of survival. You know? And so, I mean, obviously we don't have to deal with that now, but like, imagine if you did, like how many people would be ill prepared for that? I know I would, you know? Like most people would be ill prepared for that.
Yeah.
If that were to go down and you'd be subject to the people that prepared and knew what they
right.
were doing.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you would have to clan up and get with people that knew what the fuck they were doing, you know? And you hope that within your inner circle, you know 1 or 2 of those people.
Yeah.
So.
Otherwise, you're just at the mercy of the people that know.
Yeah. You're fucked. Because people are going to break in and kill you and take it. But obviously, it's an extreme scenario and situation.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about, though.
It's just stuff that you don't ever think about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff that, like, doesn't really cross your mind. Like, what would I do in the event of an absolute emergency where my family's life is on the line, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a few weapons here, but not nearly enough ammo. I need to kill everyone, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, and then who do you trust at that point, too? If you have more than, like, say, like, a really close friend, and they're like, oh, I need to bunker down with you. And then it's like, they see what you have, and like, okay, like, I gotta keep my family alive, and this guy's eating all the food. Like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker, save my family, you know? So it just, the whole, I don't know how we got on this fucking path, but it's like this whole dilemma of human psyche and, like, a fucking post-apocalyptic world, and I don't know, man. And like when you go to war, it's kind of like that. You're in this like this desolate environment where there's people trying to kill you.
Yeah, it's kill or be killed.
It's kill or be killed.
That's what it comes down to.
Like talk about tapping into primal human nature, man.
Yeah.
That's where we started, you know.
Yeah.
And now we're just people that talk into microphones to entertain others with no fucking sense of that primal instinct whatsoever, you know.
Yeah, I think it comes out sometimes, but
For sure, like when you're having sex, like that's a primal instinct.
Right.
You know? Maybe if you like do jujitsu or fighting or something on the side,
or like go hunting.
Go hunting, things like that. Like, there's things you can tap into.
Right.
You know, but
as far as like immersing yourself in that and living that way.
Well, the amount of times that you will experience in your life someone actively trying to kill you and you actively trying to kill them is very slim to none.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like...
Which is a good thing.
Oh, it's a fucking... Could you imagine? Could you fucking imagine?
Like, you want to take a walk to 7-Eleven? Yeah. Like, you gotta be on guard, bro?
Like, every day you leave for work and you go outside for snipers and shit. Like, dude, I wouldn't make it a fucking second, you know?
No.
I don't know how to hide from a sniper. Like, fuck, man, you know? I got a shotgun and a pistol. Like, it's not gonna reach a sniper on a rooftop a mile away. You know, like, fuck. Anyway, this is a wild conversation. I don't know how we got here, but...
It's a good conversation, though.
It's a good conversation, yeah. And I think, like, overall it comes down to the fact that, like, people need to think more about their lives, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of things to consider, you know, and it's... There's this concept of... I might butcher this, but there's like surface work,
okay,
and then there's deep work. I don't know if surface work is the right term. I know what deep work is, and like it's the difference between like really analyzing where you are and what you want and how you're gonna get it, versus like the surface work or like the shallow work of like scrolling through Instagram or like sending an email to somebody or like, you know, it's like you have to be able to balance these things and make sure that you're not putting too much time into these surface level things, and putting more time into the self-awareness and inner work and like really getting in the trenches and like figuring shit out that you need to figure out because you know you should, and it's going to benefit you, but are you going to do it? And like those are the things that you should spend the majority of your time on. And it's hard to do that now with like all these impulse driven ideas and temptations and but being able to really go deep and think about life in a different way and like think about your life in a different way.
Right.
Like it, like for example, I feel like I've made a lot of progress in the last like few months of, you know, learning about myself and like implementing things that are beneficial to my well-being like now and in the future. But at the same time, how much time have I wasted doing things that are just complete nonsense? Like how many hours in the last 3 months have I watched Netflix? You know, or like scrolled through Instagram.
Yeah.
Like these are the things that we need to minimize,
right?
Which will give us more time to maximize the potential of doing this deep work.
Right.
So it just all ties back to like being self-aware and like catching yourself when you're doing it and knowing, and even like if you're okay with like where you're at and like you want to scroll through Instagram and watch Netflix, like cool, do you, but like if you're looking for more, these are the things that you need to consider.
Right. So what are some good tactics to like understand what you value or what you classify as deep work?
I don't know. I mean,
like a lot of people just go through their daily lives doing surface stuff, you know.
Right.
So how do you find what is meaningful or what is valuable or what's considered deep?
I think that it would start. I think a great starting point would be to journal and meditate every day. Okay. Even if it's just for 10 minutes. Okay. And then maybe like get a dry erase board, like a vision board, like the one you have in your room, right? And write down like a couple things that you would want to learn more about.
Right.
And like and these could just be random things, you know, like I want to learn about the climate and weather conditions that roses need so that they can grow, you know, like but it's getting the wheel to start turning, of realizing that there's more to life than what you do right now, or what your current circumstances are, and the ability to ponder about these concepts, right? And you're right, like a lot of people probably don't even know what they don't consider these things, but if you do consider these things, if you've like got this inclination that like there's got to be more, there's got to be more than what I'm doing right now, like waking up and like going to work and coming home and sitting on the couch, or like playing video games, watching TV, whatever, you know, infinite number of possibilities, right? But if you want more, I think some good first steps, I'm not an expert on this at all, but I think some solid good steps that have worked for me are journaling, meditating, going to the gym, and getting outside into nature more often. I think those are the top 4 for me.
Yeah, I would agree with all those things. I think you're right. I think that the benefit that those things have to an individual is they begin to change your perspective and shift your perspective.
Right, and that's what's needed.
You start to think differently about life and about what you are capable of doing, you know? Like, for example, when you first start going to the gym, when anybody first starts going to the gym, it's like, it's a task, it's a chore, you know? You go and you do something, and let's just say we're going outside. Like if you're a homebody, going outside for you is a task or a chore. If you don't like exercising, doing those things are a task or a chore. If you don't understand how to meditate properly, then at first it's a task or a chore, you know? But I think that by doing them more often, by getting out more often, and by practicing these things more often, they convert themselves naturally from being a chore to being enjoyable. You realize the benefit they have on your life and the benefit they have on you as a person. And I think that you start to see successes in those things. You start to see small successes in those things. Like you slowly begin to lose weight at the gym or be able to lift more weight. You become stronger, you know. You slowly start to think differently when you meditate more often, when you journal more often. You slowly start to appreciate like being outdoors or nature when you're outdoors more often, you know. So I think that compounding effect will magnify other parts of you as well. And those little changes will shift your perspective to where you start believing a little more and more about your capabilities and about who you are. You start to see other people in a more positive light, which is huge, you know. You start to view other people as like, let's say like a peer group or like a collection, you know, like we're all in this together. We all have very similar insecurities.
And you probably start attracting better people.
Exactly. And I think that you're right on the spot there. Like obviously, you know, like you said, we're not experts on any of this stuff, but those little things in your life can have a monumental effect.
Well, I think that's the whole concept behind having a monumental effect in your life is little things that add up. You know, like you could up and move across the country. That's a monumental change.
A conscious monumental change.
Well, it's, and these little tasks that you can implement, these are like conscious things that you're going to do, but over time they build themselves into being monumental for your change. It's not that you are like, I'm going to change this. It's like, if I do these things, eventually I will change. And I will become something more than I am right now.
It's kind of like, I think I heard Joe Rogan say it once, like, let's say that you're going on this line, you're going on this path now, it's a straight line. Okay? You make a 5-degree change of like what you're doing in your daily life. Like over time, so it's 5 degrees now, but over time as that line continues, those things begin to separate.
Right.
And that 5 degrees puts you in a completely different trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
Another 5 degrees there, it's the same thing. And before you know it, those little 5-degree changes turn into a complete change in direction of your path. You
Right.
know? And so it's just those little things every single day that you need to do and implement that are going to change the trajectory of your path. Again, if you're not satisfied with your path, you know?
Right.
Which I think if most people were objectively honest with themselves, they would admit that. They would admit that they aren't happy where they're at now, and they think they could be doing more, better things, you know? And they mask it. I think a big problem with our society today is that we mask our feelings and we mask our emotions, and we paint a picture that's not exactly clear until we believe it, you know? And we do that through forms of like social media, right? Like we put our best foot out there on social media. We post the best things about our lives on social media.
The highlight reel.
It's the highlight reel. It's so that everyone thinks that our life is great and amazing. And then as soon as they shut off their phone, it's like back to their insecurities.
Yeah.
Back to their worries and their problems that they've now wasted time not working on because they're putting the best version of themselves on Instagram and on social media, you know? It's fucking ugly, man. It's ugly as fuck. Like I went with Erica to Little Italy last week, and like there's just people everywhere standing in front of fountains, like posing, taking pictures, and like jumping in the air and doing all this shit, and then they like get the picture they want, go to their phone immediately, and like just look at it and like okay, and like put their phone away and start walking away. And it's like, dude, like there's psychologically something wrong with that. Like there's something that is a fucking outburst of a requirement for attention right there. That is some serious like underlying psychological issue where like you need the perfect picture. I mean, I've seen girls sit there for like 15 fucking minutes to get the perfect picture, and it's like, my God, man, like you are just wasting time on this useless shit to make your life look better to other people that you don't give a fuck about, you know? Just because of the dopamine release that happens when they press the heart on the screen, you know? Like you log back in and you see like, oh my God, 71 likes? Oh fuck, like that's like your crack, it's your addiction, you know?
Yeah.
And I know firsthand because I was the same way. I would like
most people are.
Yeah, I would judge myself based on the amount of likes and shit my videos would get on Instagram and like the amount of views and stuff. I would feel better when they would get more views because it's a dopamine release.
Yeah.
Same thing when you take drugs, same thing when anything you do that's enjoyable.
Yeah.
You have sex, it's dopamine release, you know? It's like it becomes an addiction after a while, and sometimes the best way to deal with that is just to cut it off. But like I just saw it and I was like, this is fucking sickening, man. It's terrifying to see that like we're so wrapped up in ourselves that we lose sight of others. You know?
Yeah.
We're so wrapped up in like what we want and what we believe and all of that it's like we tend to lose sight, you know, of what we truly want and what we truly believe. We don't even go searching for those things anymore. We want other people to believe that we believe these things. We want other people to validate that we look good, as opposed to acknowledging ourselves that like we feel good and look good, you know?
Right.
Like people would feel better if I told them they were fit. Even if they're not fit, if I told them they were fit, they would feel better than actually going to the gyms themselves and getting fit, you know? They're like, oh, that makes me feel good.
Yeah, because I don't need to go to the gym today.
It validates my ego, you know? And it's like, okay, like, I don't know. I guess the way I'm trying to put it is, I think, who asked it on a podcast the other day? Raghunath Kaplo. He said, you know, what is your source of happiness? Is your source of happiness from your ego, or is it from your everyday life?
Yeah.
And it's like, most people's answer to that is that your source of happiness comes from your ego. Most.
Yeah.
Even mine.
Yeah.
Even mine. Like, going to the gym me physically looking good is an important thing for my ego, you know? I like to look good. I like to be fit, you know? That's part of who I have identified myself to be as a person. And if I'm not that way, I don't feel good about myself.
Yeah.
You know? And how do I break that? I have no fucking clue. Because I'm addicted to the gym. It's a dopamine release for me, you know? And it's not the worst thing to be addicted to, but I'm doing it out of my ego, you know?
Right.
I'm telling myself that it makes me happy, but in reality, it's serving my ego, you know?
Yeah. Well.
Anyway.
There's.
Kind of a rant.
That's all right. I like the rants.
Yeah.
There's Well, I think like just bringing it back around is like you said, you don't know how to get out of that cycle. Well, I think those things that we just mentioned, obviously one of them is the gym, but like those 4 things that I laid out, you know, journal, meditate,
right,
physical exercise, and get out in nature.
Right.
But I think all of those together compound into a larger entity.
Right.
And if you can like reap the benefits from each of those individually and doing them all at the same time,
Yeah.
that's how you start to break out of the ego trip, you know?
Yeah. And sometimes
I'm
feel
hoping.
like
I don't know. We'll find out.
Sometimes
I'll
I
let
feel
you
like
know,
even
but
those things are fueled by my ego, you know? Sometimes I like the feeling that I get when people know that I meditate and people know that I journal.
Of course.
You know?
So that's the other thing is like I don't think that I think the problem in that lies in if you're actually meditating to learn more about yourself.
Right.
Or if you're just meditating to say that you meditate.
Right.
Or you just journal to say that you journal.
Right.
Or you just go to the gym to say you, or like you went on a hike just to like tell somebody, hey, I went on a hike today.
It's
you know?
the same thing with like Instagram and social media.
Right. So it's all connected. So you just have to, you know, be conscious while you're doing it of like remind yourself like self affirmations, you know, or like not like I'm a good person, but like I'm doing this for me.
Right.
You know, and I think that positive self-talk and that self-reassurance goes a long way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you entirely. I just think that sometimes like I would ask myself that question, like, or tell myself like I'm doing this for me. But then I think behind that, like, what if me is just my ego? Like, do I know myself outside of my ego? You know? Like, what if me is just what makes me feel good? I'm doing these things because they're self-serving to me. Is that me acting out of my ego?
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with being selfish.
No, I agree. Yeah.
But
I think what I'm trying to say on a deeper level is like, how do I know that the decisions that I'm not making out of my ego? Like, it's not my ego driving my decisions.
Well, I think that comes down to like, you want to go even deeper is like, your self-conscious runs it, right? So you got to fix that.
Subconscious, yeah.
Oh yeah, subconscious.
Yeah.
I say self-conscious.
Yeah. But part of your subconscious are things that you're self-conscious about.
True.
Yeah. So yeah.
Thanks for trying to save me there.
Just a little misnomer, no big deal, man.
But yeah, your subconscious is running the show. So
right.
I think that ultimately is where the change comes from.
Oh, for sure. I would entirely
So if you're trying to like strip away your ego and, you know, learn to like do you without worrying about what anybody else thinks,
right.
I think you got to get to the root of these issues.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's a journey right there.
That's a journey.
You know?
And also, like, as we mentioned before, like, all of that is rooted in trauma. So you've got to go to some very, very dark places that you otherwise would not want to journey to. You know? And you've got to be willing to dig in the dark spaces of your mind to remember what happened to you in the past and try to forgive and resolve those problems. And
there's a quote that I really like. I feel like I may have said it on here before, but the quote is, "That which you most need to find will be found where you least want to look."
Yes. Yeah. Amen to that.
Big facts.
Amen to that. It's like I've talked to people ever since I've learned this whole idea, this concept behind not taking a conscious action to fix a subconscious problem, rather working on the subconscious to change the subconscious and the way it thinks. People don't respond well to that idea or that concept.
No.
At all. As soon as you mention, like, relive your childhood and the problematic parts of your childhood, relive those, focus on those things and feel the emotions, people are like, oh, no. Like, that's not going to happen. You know, I don't want to go there. Like, it's fucking, it's in the past. And it's like, but it's not in the past. It happened from a time standpoint in the past.
But it's still
it's still very much present.
Yeah, right.
It's still very much present, and it's impacting you every fucking day, and you don't even know it. The decisions that you are making are directly correlated to your fucking traumas. Every day, the way that you think, everything. It's all fucking tied back to who you are conditioned to be based on the trauma that you've experienced in your life. And if you don't actively work to alleviate those, your subconscious is so tightly held that it's like you might get a little bit of work done, it snaps right back.
Yeah.
A little bit of work done, snaps right back. You have to fully divest those things into two separate entities, you know. Look at yourself as a child, as a separate entity from who you are now. Learn to forgive and accept your inner child and your younger self for the things that happened, and realize, you know, that you aren't responsible for those things, and that everyone involved is also in some way not responsible because they're carrying the same burdens without even knowing it, you know.
Right.
And that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
And that's just a start.
Yeah.
It's a good place to start.
It is.
But the key word there is start. You know,
I don't think the work is ever done.
There's no finish.
No.
There's no finish line. It'll continue forever. But the more, that's a tough word. I don't want to go there.
I really want to know the word that you're thinking.
Let's say the more active you are about mindfully engaging in activities that will improve your subconscious, the better off your physical life and environment will be. Because you will change your ideas. It all comes back to, if you want to change the world, you have to first change yourself.
Right.
And as a byproduct, the world changes when you change yourself. The word that I was going to say is you have to be more conscious, but that's not the word you want to use.
I see.
Because it's a conscious action for subconscious. You want to try to, I guess I put it perfectly. I'm not even going to try to rephrase it.
No, it was good.
Try to rephrase it. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been quite a conversation. What time is it?
About 7 o'clock.
Okay. That's
solid.
Good.
Yeah.
Solid time.
All right, bro. Well,
I think we should do like a closing thought, you know? I like the closing thought thing.
Okay. What's your closing thought?
You kick one off and then I'll follow it.
Okay.
What do you want people to get out of today?
I think that the big, at least currently in my life, the big thing that I'm working on is remaining present in the moment. And even like during this podcast, I found, you know, was like I had to like bring myself back, you know, because I'm just like
start drifting,
you know, my mind is just all over the place. But recognizing when that happens and like bringing yourself back to the moment that you're in and like living in the moment, I think will take you a long way. Okay,
I agree with that. And if you want some good tips on how to remain present, Eckhart Tolle, ECKHART space TOLLE, has a great Spotify playlist where he walks you through how to be present. He starts at the tip of your left toe, and I'll leave it there.
Damn, I'm down.
And it's legit, and it's very interesting. I think that my closing message for the day would be to evaluate seriously, for people to evaluate their source of happiness and to understand what are they doing that makes them happy and where actually is their happiness coming from. That was a big pivotal point for me, was to discover that all the decisions I was making were coming from my ego. And how do I separate that, and how does everybody separate that? You know, where can you act from a place of true being and act from a place of who you truly are as a person, so that the things that you're really doing, things that you're doing are really beneficial to who you are, not who you think you are. And they're serving a larger purpose, they're not serving your ego. So I think that's my ending thing, is focus on your happiness drivers and the source of those happiness drivers.
I like it.
Boom.
All right, peeps. Until next time, signing out.
Cheers.
See you next week.
Sounds good.